In 2026, we are blessed to be witnessing another era-defining team in Vitality. The narrative for ages at Tier 1 is who will dethrone them. Could it be Furia, Magic Spirit, or even the new look Falcon side? With all eyes tunnel vision to the elite of Tier 1, it's easy to forget and focus on the fastest rising international lineup, one that could be considered a dark horse at the Cologne Major. Today, we will be diving into the new kids on the block. The individuals shoot extremely hard. Even Aurora's captain said Foot shoot better than Spirit, Vitality or Falcons back in mid-February. Even following up with, but I think the biggest strength they have is the firepower they have. When I play Spirit or Vitality, or I play Falcons, Foot are shooting better than all these teams. With an average age of just over 19, the question on most people's mind is how has a completely inexperienced side made their way to Tier 1? To answer that, we need to go back to the very beginning. In today's expensive landscape, Tier 1 organisations have supported and funded academy projects for two main reasons. The first is to promote rising talents into their main team when a roster change is needed, or to buy cheap players, most even free agents, provide them with structure, and turn them into gems that can be sold to other Tier 1 organisations for a decent sum of cash. Across the last few years, there has been some very successful academy systems, but NAVI Junior have proven their consistent high quality of scouting is one of the very best in the world. Since 2019, this academy side has fielded BIT, Monacy, MPL, Hetrick, and Fair. After producing the next generation of players from Ukraine and Russia throughout CSGO, the organisation came into CS2 with their eyes on an international lineup for the very first time. Everyone was aged between 16 and 18 years old and hungry to prove their worth. Funnily enough, rather than the staff going out and scouting young and upcoming players, the kids actually came to them. NAVI held a public application in which anyone that was 16 to 19 years old, 4,000 plus ELO on FaceIt, spoke English and had no affiliation with any organisation could apply directly. Even Amy, their head of esports, said, "I'm confident we will stay true to our philosophy and raise a new generation of champions." The first 7 months showed individual signs of promise, but really a lack of growth within the lineup, and forced further changes, promoting players internally from their youth project. From May to the end of the year, titles and deep runs started flowing in small online cups, including frequent wins over established Tier 2 names. The real bottleneck, however, started occurring around April of the following year. The boys reached 21st in the world on VRS. They were getting to that level of invite zones to Tier 1 tournaments, but due to being Navi's academy side, any event that the main team was already attending, the academy squad couldn't. Heading into the summer player break, the lineup was just too good. They'd won 4 events, including 2 grand final upsets versus ENCE and NIP. The youngsters had gone from being decent in Tier 2 to defeating top names like ENCE, Paravision, OG, Fnatic, BetBoom and TNL. They were now a serious threat. This project was 156th in the world on VRS on the 19th of August 2024, and not even a year later, they proved that they can stay around the top 30 marker. The only thing holding them back was being an academy unit, but that was about to change very soon. By the way, a full team of people worked on this video. If you'd like to help us make more content like this, check out today's sponsor, SkinsMonkey. If you are getting tired of your skins, SkinsMonkey is here to save the day with their trusted, fully automated platform. Just look how easy it is to trade your old skins for fresh ones. You'll have a brand new look in minutes. When you use code DWEG, you will get up to $5 in free credit as a welcome bonus on your first trade. The more you trade, the larger the bonus. If you are looking to just purchase skins rather than trade them, you are free to do that too. With code DWEG, SkinsMonkey gives you a 35% deposit bonus. You can even get skins completely for free by completing fun tasks or by entering daily, weekly and monthly giveaways. To top it all off, they also have 24/7 live support ready to help you out with anything. Want to try? Check out SkinsMonkey by clicking in the link in the description of this video. It really is the best way to support the channel. Thank you. Now, let's get back to the video. To understand why, we need to take a look at the circumstances surrounding the roster's creation. Their in-game leader Krebeni made his HLTV debut on the 27th of May 2022 and played over 100 maps on HLTV in the local Kosovo scene before joining NAVI Junior over a year later. What helped build the foundations of this team was that Krebeni had already played with the star rifler in Mikaze on KS. The youngster received a message from the head coach Kari seeing if he wanted to join. Apparently only after 5 days of trials, both were offered spots on the roster. As we all know, Mikaze didn't even get to spend long with this academy side, as he was given a promotion when JL stepped down. But for some reason, this promotion also led the organisation to put the promising 4-man core on the market. Considering we've seen teams include buyback clauses in contracts before, there was a chance selling this squad was a strategic move to let this promising core gain Tier 1 experience elsewhere while preserving the option to bring them back in the future if needed. This lineup had to be quite attractive for a lot of parties, but it was FUT that decided to commit pen to paper. The Turkish organisation, who are quite well known in the Valorant scene, decided to branch out into CS. They first tried to sign a French unit for a couple of months, most notably with names like NAVI and Masuta, but it would seem that they were quite disappointed with the squad as they dropped them fairly quickly. One notably funny moment that I remember was at a low tier UK LAN where the French got a default loss due to coming 15 minutes late to one of their games. This led them to bomb out of the tournament and basically waste the org's investment in a time where LANs are very important due to VRS points, so I'm not surprised that they decided to ditch them and try something else. But as you might remember, without Makaze present, it was still just a 4-man core, so it was attempted to give it a go with one remaining French player from the previous roster, Masuta. But it just didn't click and they soon went out looking again. This is when they found the one last key piece that pushed FUT into that next level, the addition of Longs. The young Romanian made his HLTV debut on the 25th of March 2021, spending time in the local scene playing alongside the famous Nexus duo of BTN and Zello for an entire year. Then got the call up to Sprout, a team that was always near the top of Tier 2 with experienced players that would even compete at the odd Tier 1 event. At just 17 years old, he got to play at IM Cologne and followed up a few months later by qualifying to the IM Rio Major. Elsewhere in Europe, the last ever CSGO Major, Blast Paris 2023, had concluded, and French Project Falcons had just failed to qualify after Kenny S looked absolutely dreadful, and so the organisation targeted a rebuild with European players. Unfortunately, this was a massive failure for him and the team, and he spent the next few years bouncing around weak and average Tier 2 lineups like Bleed and even bloody Revenant. By March last year, he returned to Nexus to play once again with BTN and Zello. Now, while during this time individually he looked fantastic, the side was fairly shit. I was convinced that his stock was very low and that it was going to be the end of chances for him. It was very shocking and surprising to see that they gave him another opportunity to play at the top again after 2 years of being hard stuck in Tier 2 and 3. But it's not just the young players that have risen this team to the top. A lot of credit needs to be given over to Coolio. Now, he might not have built the roster, that responsibility fell to Kyrie, but the Hungarian vet was the head coach of NAVI Youth and transitioned to the junior squad in May 2024, alongside Sentry and Jukes. So it seemed that he was already developing the two pieces for the last 6 months before becoming part of this core. Coolio was a player for a long time, having switched to coaching not so long ago. Still, having peaked at 41st on HLTV as a player, it seemed coaching has been a much better fit for him, as he has blown past that now with FUT. From my point of view, the coach has to be doing something right if a lineup so young is performing so well under extreme pressure, so props to him as well. This full squad acquired their first title in late September, where they dropped a single map in an entire online event. This unit looked decent online, but still needed to prove themselves at that next level, and they did exactly that just 3 weeks later in Shanghai, China for CAC, their first ever Tier 1 LAN event. The youngsters not only beat FaZe in a best of 1, but beat Pain in a best of 3 and defeated FaZe again to advance to the playoffs. Considering FaZe had just 2-0'd Spirit in the quarterfinals of EPL a week prior, losing to these guys was a massive upset, as this was their first true legit result. They continued on with their strong level of form as they reached the grand final in back-to-back LANs. And after CAC, to the end of the year, the team won 16 out of 20 matches on HLTV. If 2025 was the entree, then 2026 would be the main course. The squad came into the new year at Blast Bounty Online, beating OG and almost defeating Furia. Everyone wanted to see these guys back on LAN, and they got the opportunity a few weeks later at IM Krakow, where they once again upset Tier 1 teams like Legacy, Liquid and Furia, while managing to take maps off of G2 and Astralis. PGL Cluj-Napoca saw wins versus Aurora and Astralis, and ESL Pro League saw them go from being a contender to a threat. They went 3-0 in Stage 1, eliminated Bait and G2 from Stage 2, and even beat Mouse in the quarterfinals, only losing to their old teammate Makaze during the semis. Are FUT really a Tier 1 side, or is this just some kind of honeymoon phase for them? These are the sort of questions going around people's minds after EPL. 2 weeks later, they went to Romania for PGL Bucharest for their third Tier 1 LAN of the year. The youngsters were invited directly to the tournament via VRS, but were only the 4th highest ranked team. Paravision, the Mongols and Astralis all outranked them. Starting with the Swiss stage, the youngsters lost map 1 of Dust 2 to Inner Circle, and then proceeded to win 12 maps in a row. These guys were cooking, even in the grand final versus Astralis. Yeah, Nuke might have gone to overtime, but Ancient, Mirage and Dust 2 combined, Foot lost just 13 rounds to the Danes, and they lifted their first ever Tier 1 trophy. What an immense success for such young players. Sentry was awarded the MVP of the event, and Jukes finished as the 2nd highest rated player, only behind Carrigan, who played just one best of 3 as FaZe forfeited all their other matches, so his rating really doesn't count. So what makes these young kids so good? The eye test will instantly tell you that they are insanely sharp and really confident. There are so many Tier 2 players that get a chance of playing at a Tier 1 event and play scared. Nerves kick in. If anything, it feels like they are more keen to fight and duel against some of the best players in the world. At PGL Bucharest, there were 6 key categories where Foot outclassed the field and showed their true potential. On their CT side, they ranked 2nd for most multi-kills per round behind only Astralis, and were 1st for highest round win percentage in 4v5 situations. This demonstrates really good fundamentals to close rounds down in man-up moments. Moving over to their T side, they had the most opening kills per round at 52.1%. They have the individuals who not only create space, but also work map control with impact of forcing fights. Getting off to positive starts is so important in MR12, and Krebeni evidently has put a lot of time in preparing for round 2 conversions. That's the round after winning the pistol. They won 17 out of 18 of them, not getting reset and trolling to be pushed into a double eco. Lastly, it's got to be the strength of their individual X factor. Sentry managed to win 7 clutches, and Jugs also had 6. When it comes purely to fragging, there is no weak player on this lineup. Everyone puts up numbers and is very consistent. This is very difficult to provide at Tier 2, let alone against the best teams in the world. Just watch these 2 clips from Sentry and Krebeni versus Astralis in the grand final.
Yeah, unfortunate miss, but at least he's able to get away. He now knows the pressure's on though, but you can't miss again. Finally getting one on the 3rd time of asking. Demon's pushed up in A main. He's got a kill. Okay, Symmetry opens up the graveyard, throws them in, and they're all dead, littering the A bomb site.
But thankfully, they have control of tunnels.
Yeah, Symmetry turning around. Oh, he misses the shot.
Panicked.
When you commit to that, you have to land it. And now that he's gone down, that has really freed up Astralis for this retake. They can come in from multiple sides no longer. Crabman again. Krebeni. Oh Jesus. My God, he has destroyed them. Out from the window, pitting Astralis against the wall. And Ryu walks into his death as well. The leader of Foot taking them a huge step.
It's clear. These guys are a Tier 1 team. They have finally made that jump to the top division of Counter-Strike. Just like Paravision, 3D Max and Bait. Hard work and grinding tells you that it's possible to escape the pit of Tier 2 without massive signings, or even huge budgets, but developing a system that functions and a good work ethic is enough to hang with the big boys. Foot are playing in IEM Atlanta this month, and then have the IEM Cologne Major in June. These next couple of months will be about getting ready to go on a run at the World Championship. If this 5-man lineup is able to stick together and doesn't break apart to look for individual Tier 1 offers, then I can see them being a consistent top 15 team in the world. Their rise hasn't just been via impressive online results. These inexperienced players have shown their strength in the offline environment. Their next test will be in front of crowds and in larger arenas. The German Major is stacked with giants, but I do truly believe that Foot are the strongest dark horse to contend for a playoff spot. They have a leg up as they will be invited directly to Stage 2 and have already beaten Astralis, G2, Pain, Legacy, BetBoom, Bait, Heroic, M80, NRG, Liquid, Aurora, Mouse, Furia and the Mongols. So why couldn't they do the same in the most prestigious event of their careers? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.